This is a vision that I had Tuesday, the 24th of May. It starts out in an auditorium, a really large one, like where they would hold concerts or plays or conferences and things like that. And in this place is very, very dark. All that is lit up are these lights that go up the stairs that kind of show you where your seat is or where you could walk up the stairs at. And they're lit up all over the place. And then coming from the lobby area, these men come into the main place, and they're all in white. They're so lit up like white. They're like glowing, and they're older men with white hair. And so it sort of was revealed to me the word ancient. And these men slowly walked through, not the very bottom level, but like the next level up. They were up there. And then they came in that way and then went down the stairs to the bottom and then went all the way through and back up the other side and then back out of the other side. And after leaving the auditorium, well, first I could see that in this particular auditorium, I looked on the stage and I can see many different plays being played out. You can just see in each corner of the stage were different types of plays going on, like different types of acting, drama, fantasy, different types of things like that being played out on stage. And then you can see the very top of the roof, it starts to crumble in. And when this happened, I could see now on the outside, and I can see literally the earth being torn up from where that place was. And it was kind of pulled up from the underneath the ground and just sort of placed above the ground. So there was like a gap between this piece of land and where the auditorium was. And it was an enormous uprising of this place. It just was on a large scale. You could just see how huge when it took place. It was almost like catastrophic or something. I don't know the right word, but it was unbelievable the way that it looked. It was too big almost for me to kind of see. I think it was meant to be realized just that it's a major thing that happened there. At this point in the vision, after it was removed from the auditorium and it opens up and you can see all the people, and they had filled all the seats. And the people that were sitting in the seats, they couldn't handle the light that was coming through now that they were no longer in the dark. And this showed that this particular auditorium was underground. And then when the ground was ripped up, it opened up, and all the people in the stadium or arena or whatever, auditorium, they were just blinded by the light. They hid their eyes and they kind of covered under things and looked away, and it was just too bright for them. And at that point, the auditorium began to fill with the dirt and fill till it was completely full. And this is where I saw Emmanuel and Tim, and they were standing, I'd say, right next to where the auditorium filled up. And they had people lining up. And these people were lining up to go up onto this new higher level of earth. And the only way they could get there is by some sort of spiritual way. It couldn't physically be attained. It had to spiritually be done, because when they started to walk up these stairs, you could not see them. And that just represented that it was a spiritual walking, a spiritual going forward and going up. They also were told by Emmanuel and Tim that there were certain things that they had to leave behind to be able to go up. And some of the things that I saw being left behind were like a heart, like their heart, finances, money. I saw in the meeting right before Tim was speaking about something about measuring God, like you don't feel like you measure up or something like that. And right before he did that, I saw actually a measuring tape. And then he had said that. So I assumed that this is what made me come to believe. This is what enabled me to believe, or the Lord revealed that these were things that the Lord wanted us to give up, to give away, that we were holding in our minds towards him, a wrong way of thinking, or a wrong mindset, a wrong belief, something that's hindering us from going up to this place. Anyway, and so this place was represented as like an Eden. The Lord was revealing that to me as well. Anyway, and so as these people are going up to this place, now that they've left these things down there, Tim and Emmanuel are also the ones that were receiving them on this plane. So they had gone up and they were there waiting for the people. And it was almost like a ladder, like once they got to the top of the ladder, Tim and Emmanuel, grabbed their arms and helped them up. And as each person was at this place, you could see Tim and Emmanuel talking with them and pointing things out to them and telling them things as if they knew where these people individually needed to go in this place. And they kept coming up and coming up. The next thing that I saw was that there was a serpent in this place. And there was a difference. It was not a serpent that was the snake. It was a serpent before he was a snake. It was almost like a lizard or something. Anyway, it had legs. But it was very much telling me that the serpent was here at this place. Although this place was beautiful and lush and green and just like Eden, it just reminded me exactly, just beautiful, full of trees and full of great things. And the places these people were going, it seemed to be sent to, not a scary place or anywhere. I don't know. I'm not sure what they were supposed to do there, but you can see when Tim and Emmanuel are explaining to them and giving them understanding, it wasn't something fearful that they were going to do. So anyway, after this, I could see in the same place was a waterfall. And if you think about a waterfall and the water coming down, and at the bottom when it hits the pool, it kind of fizzes up into this white, foamy water. But in this particular waterfall, that entire waterfall from top to bottom was that white, fizzy water. And it opened the waterfall opened into there was a cave inside on the other side of the waterfall, but it opened like a curtain, like a veil, and it was just all white. And then inside of this place, again, Tim and Emmanuel are here. In the middle of this cave, almost like on a rock, almost like an altar, reminded me of, is this blue flame. And Tim and Emmanuel have their hands up to this flame, and they look like they're in some sort of prayer or something. But as they're talking or praying or being there, the flame ends up growing into like a fire. And then after it grows into a fire, it begins to sort of take over. And you can see that it's like going up the walls and it's covering them. And the Lord has already told me before in visions that the blue flame or blue fire is the spirit. Anyway, and as the spiritual fire is taking over, people start to come into this place. So you can see them kind of lining up and faces look familiar to me. And anyway, they start to come in and they start to be covered in that same light of the fire, the spiritual fire. And that is where the vision ends.